Good morning on what is a mild, grey and cloudy day. It is Tuesday the 29th of August. I've got a nice hot cup of tea and a box to continue unboxing. And the next thing I'm going to pull out of here is not this issue of the Medieval Menagerie, but the second issue of the Medieval Menagerie. This is published by Just Crunch Games at a zine of the grotesque, the weird and the bizarre for OSR games. So this is Field School Renaissance and this is volume 2 following on from this issue. So it's published by the same people who does sort of like, you know, to the D-Sanction, and it's a collection of monsters and encounters inspired by the marginalia of the illuminated manuscripts. Essentially the marginalia that the monks would draw in the margins, essentially because they were bored. You know, basically the repetition of having to, you know, write out these manuscripts again and again and again. Contents page, this is again by Richard August and Paul Podolsky, and essentially just like the first volume, it's an entirely ludicrous project, the Medieval Margin-agerie, and essentially there is a nice play on words here with the Margin-agerie. Essentially it provides long-suffering game masters with a taste for the grotesque, some ideas and creatures to shove in the path of your place and see how they handle them. They are deliberately weird, and the weirdness varies from the funny haha to that peculiar end of the spectrum. Take what you like, ignore the rest. So we do have some hooks in there to get the player characters involved as well. Before we get into the first entry, and that is the mysterious caped baboon, and we have that same baboon there illustrated holding a very large axe, and the structure of each of these entries is, you know, so what, where, why and how. So what, a small grey baboon, always clad in a luxurious ermine-lined cloak and wearing a mask to cover his eyes. He's exactly as the name would suggest, really. So yeah, masked baboon. Where the mysterious Cape Baboon operates whenever a contract is offered. It may take the beast a few months to arrive if he's a great distance away, but those who follow the correct procedure for offering a contract will receive a response. Why? The origins of the mysterious Cape Baboons are as well mysterious as the creature's name suggests. Where it comes from, and why a baboon donned a cloak and mask, grabbed a polearm and became an assassin, remain entirely obscured. How? The mysterious Cape Baboon's skills as an assassin and duelist are justly legendary. He can steal the most tricksome of surfaces, unconcerned by traps or any other obstacle. And then, so, you know, so that's covering the, you know, what, where, why, and how, and then the stats for the baboon at the end. And then it's going to do the same thing for the essentially the black line of the Saint Buffonitis. Saint Buffonitis, a former major and famous idiot, called up a lion as a practical joke and a demonstrated magical prowess. The lion tried to eat him immediately, causing Buffonis to spontaneously renounce his magical abilities and join the church. And it's you know, so you now have this lion unleashed upon the world because you have an idiotic mage having unleashed him, but again, the lion isn't actually turned out to be quite as bad. So you can actually have, as well as the stats for the black line of St. Buffonitis, you've got benign conversations with a lion. So you know, not so much the tiger who came to tea, but the lion who came to tea. And then we have the urns of Homunculus. What a pair of pots, both are in sophisticated design, but stoutly made and whitewashed. Each possesses a single handle. So I'm prepossessing, you're wondering what these are. And oh my god, well, if you're of a you know, sensitive nature, you don't want to watch what I'm about to show you. And the stats of the the urns of the homunculus and the rituals associated with them, and so homunculus 1, homunculus 2, and yeah, oof. There is no outlet in the imagination of those monks, is there? So then we turn to the froth-tailed stalking monkey, a grinning simian head mounted on the body of a cockatrice. The froth-tailed stalking monkey earns the first part of its name from the peculiar fluffy tail bearing a plume of wool-like fronds. So this is an amalgam of sort of like of creatures, you know, a certain fondness for snails and rabbits, and doing strange things with them, and that's definitely strange. And then we have you've got the full stats for froth-tailed stalking monkey, followed by the melancholy Plox, constantly dispirited, dour and dolorous. The melancholy Plox is feared everywhere, not because it's aggressive or hostile creature, but because it's pervasive or consuming misery. And then we have the Satyrica. Satyrs, fauns, and other such creatures of fauns are a nuisance. They rampage through the forests of the world, taking what they please and getting as drunk and as aggressive as possible. There are also numerous of dark appetites for human flesh, for kidnapping, for rites in honour of dark gods. And there we have it. And then we have Science and Spore of Margin-agerie manifest at the end. The interesting things to find on the body of the dead, because as I keep pointing out, if you're producing an OSR old school Renaissance style product, it is almost de rigueur, it is obligatory that you have interesting things to find on the body of the dead, i.e. I loot the body. And then we essentially afterward from Richard August, the author, you know, as one of the trumpets trumps his name, and then you know, there's a list of curses on the back to randomly roll. So yeah, that's the Medieval Margin-agerie Volume 2, published by Just Crunch Games. I think this is a lot of fun. I think it's inventive. You know, if you are running a role-playing game set in a, well, more specifically medieval world than your average Dungeons and Dragons game, you know, this would be an interesting addition. Probably possibly a bit too weird for something like Ars Magica, but yeah, you know, and perhaps a bit too early for Warhammer Fantasy Roleplay, which is set a couple of which is essentially set a couple of centuries ahead. But you know, any time between then, you know, Chronica Feudalis or you know, the Midlands would be perfect for this content, because it's tongue in cheek, it's weird, and definitely worth putting into that, because it just adds so much colour, and that's not just because of the fact that everything is illuminated. So yeah, Medieval Margin-agerie, Marge Harder. I think you'll have fun with this. Anyway, hope you've enjoyed this unboxing in the Nook. If you have, then please do click on the like button down below. And of course, if you've got comments or feedback, I do appreciate you taking the time to post those. And lastly, if you want to be alerted to more unboxings in the Nook, where you will see me out here with a box containing a book or game which I will unbox and chat about to the best extent of my knowledge for roughly 10 minutes or so. All, of course, accompanied by a nice cup of tea. Then please do click on the subscribe button down below. Thanks again for watching another unboxing Nook. I will be back again soon with another one. Bye for now.